Okay, guys. So for my acting course, I have to do this little thing called an autodrama, and what it is, I have to kind of tell a story from my past that relates to who I am now. Um, so here it is. It's about my grandfather. So yeah. So to get the complete story, I want you to picture me as an 8-year-old boy. I was living the dream. I had a bowl-shaped haircut, bleach blonde hair, striped T-shirt, blue jean overalls, tons of swag, right? Now, not sure how many of you pictured me as a fat little kid, but I assure you, my love of chips and cake did not come until much later, and I could not do the truffle shuffle back then, which I can do now, but I will not do. And I hope some of you got that Goonies reference. Anyway, so when I was a kid, my pap would always teach me these life lessons. Like a good grandfather should. He was my mentor, my idol. Um, Now, I assure you, all of you, that I was not abused as a kid. I had a good childhood. Don't worry about that. Just be a little less serious right now when you hear these. So one of the first things I learned from him was how to sit still. And for this, I had earmuffs. I had goggles on. It was protective, okay. And even at the end, I would get this popsicle, whatever one I wanted, and not that shitty grape flavor that just sucks ass and no one likes, but a good flavor, anyone I wanted. So what he would do is I would sit on a chair, and under my butt would go this piece of wood, and it would, hang off of the chair, and so he would just like, chop, chop, saw the shit out of that wood, right next to me, and I wouldn't move. I knew not to move, because I mean, even if I did, like my stylish yet affordable designer labeled clothing from J.C. Penney's would just be destroyed, and that would be tragic for me. But anyway, so the next lesson I learned was a small one, just that a proper man always shaves. Now, from here, it may look like I shaved, but no, a few days. So I'm not a proper man. But I learned this because he would always rub his stubble all over your face, and I mean, I don't know how it feels to kiss a bearded man, but I'm sure it doesn't feel good. And that's probably what it kind of felt like. Not that he kissed me, but still, all over there, gross. Um, so I also learned the importance of exercise, which I've obviously forgotten. Uh, but he would always have me running around the house. I would chase him with hugs and kisses, and he would chase me with a belt. Um, yeah, but no, it was good. Good clean exercise. At least that's what I thought of it as, and I mean that's what we told those two social workers that came looking around. Um, but seriously, no social workers. But so the third lesson I learned, or fourth, I can't even count. But that drinking alcohol is bad. It is bad. Don't do it. Yeah, I didn't listen. My Saturday nights and my liver can both attest to that. I drink. But anyway, so he had a cup, and I was like, kind of a sip? And he said, sure. I didn't know what was in it. But it turns out there was beer mixed with tomato juice. And no, worst drink I've ever had. I mean, granted, I was 8, but I'm not trying it again. Um, so to this day, I cannot drink beer, and my grilled cheese sandwiches are always lonely. So, I mean, for some of you, you may think this doesn't sound safe or emotionally supportive, but, like my mother would say, but no, it was good. His methods were tried and true, and they made me who I am today. But seriously, I learned a lot from him. I learned to have a strong will, be respectful and responsible, not to take life too seriously, which I don't. If you know me, sometimes I can be a pervert. Sometimes I can just make the whole situation better. Um, but I learned a good deal. I learned just also to run from the two B's. Beer and belts, just run. Not a good thing. Oh, I mean, unless you're into it, I don't really care. Beer that is. If you're into belts, then something's wrong. But so I always remember him. I actually have the tattoos. This guy, Panther, if you can see it. Oh, yeah. My grandfather and my uncle both have one, and I mean, I want to get one like his, but like I saw the pictures, and they weren't very good pictures to begin with. But I thought this one was a lot cooler than the one that was on his arm. Yeah, and then I have um, this guy, which is an eagle, and it says Pap on it. It's his favorite animal, mine too. Now, yeah. So I always remember him in my thoughts too, and I know he'll be proud of who I am and who I've become. So, thanks guys for listening.